I'm Brian Westbrook with GeekWire Studios. Welcome back to Money Hacks. We are here with Stacey Black, BECU, lead financial educator. Thank you for joining us for another episode.
Thanks. It's nice to see you again.
We have a great topic, Stacey.
Yes.
I'm very excited. How to live for today and save for tomorrow. Now, we know that the U.S. consumer debt has climbed to 17 trillion. What does that mean for the average person?
Feel like it's overwhelming when you hear 17 trillion,
Trillion.
but that's collectively as Americans. We have $17 trillion worth of debt. And for the average person, that is going to be a lot more financial stress. Number one, because interest rates are getting higher, minimum payments will likely be higher. So that makes it difficult for budgeting and just coming up with the finances for those changes. And that means we're under a lot more financial pressure than we have been in the past. Also, this could affect credit reports. If you're behind on making payments or you're not able to make those payments, that could have an effect on your credit. And also, I'm seeing people delaying some of their goals. Like if you want to buy a new car, maybe now's not the time, just to make sure you have enough saved and are able to cover those new debt payments.
Now, speaking of savings, any tips for saving in small amounts, maybe on a daily, weekly, monthly basis?
Yeah, so I can break it down first. I talk about this quite a bit. So daily, there are little things you can do to really make a big difference. And it might not seem like a lot at the time, but really it adds up over time. So one of the things I suggest everyone to do is to track your spending. So many people say, I just got paid. I have no idea where my money went. You need to track it so you won't have that excuse anymore, right? And then you'll have a clear picture of where your money goes. Another thing that I personally do is when my kids were younger, I had a big jar and we would put all of our spare change in the jar. And that really taught my kids, along with me, how important it is to save.
Right.
So you can use digital apps for that now. But remember, those little savings really add up over time. Also, look for coupons, discounts where you shop. A lot of these stores have their own apps now where you can earn rewards, cash back. So take a look at where you regularly shop and see if they have an app for you.
Okay, that's great on a daily basis. What about weekly?
Think about things like your transportation costs, dig into how you can cut back there. Also, meal planning has been important for me so that I don't just go order DoorDash or whatever it is. And also, I love the concept of no spend days or
A whole
no
day.
spend weeks, even. I tried it for a week, that was tough. But the idea is don't spend anything outside of your bills, right? I know it's
I
tough.
can't do this.
Try it for a day,
Okay,
then
one day,
maybe
okay.
2 days, right? But the idea is to take the money you didn't spend and divert that to your emergency
So
savings.
you're spending it, but on yourself.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
I get it. All right, I can get behind that. How about monthly?
I always share in general, automate your savings. It's set it and
Yeah.
forget it. So then you don't have to remember or get tempted to buy something else before you transfer those funds. So definitely set up automatic transfers. Another thing I suggest is budget for fun. So many people tell me, I cut everything out of my budget because I really want to save or I really want to pay off debt. What happens is if you don't budget for fun, you're going to spend on fun, but outside of your budget. You might splurge. So give yourself permission and budget. Put that in your budget.
When we talk about savings, there's a concept called micro savings. Can you walk us through that? What exactly is that?
Yeah, I used to tell people you need to save at least 20% of your income. And if you would have told me that when I was starting out and I had gotten myself deep into debt, I would give up and I probably wouldn't save anything. Think of little things you can do. So, for example, BECU has something called Save Up.
Okay.
And so every time I use my debit card, it transfers $1 to my savings account.
I love this.
So you can choose to round up to the nearest dollar or choose $1 to $5. Check with your financial institution because they likely have something similar. And it just makes it out of sight. I don't even have to pay attention. And then I'm like, whoa, I have some money in my savings account, right? So it adds up.
Now, talk about where we should put our money. Should we pay off our debt? Should we save for emergencies? Is it possible to do both?
This is a big one too that I get this question all the time. And I've had folks who say, no, I'm going to put all my extra money towards debt. It makes sense on paper. We have to pay interest on it. So why not
Right.
work at paying it off, right?
Yeah.
But then what happens is, and I've had this happen to me too, you're focusing on that debt and you're not saving. What happens when an emergency comes
Yeah.
up, right?
What do you do?
So you get back in more debt. So I think it's a fine balance. You need to start with an emergency savings, then start targeting that debt and working on paying it off. And then you can work on contributing more to that longer term savings as well.
Let's talk about strategies people can use to make their savings work harder.
Yes. So instead of keeping it in a regular savings account, look at accounts that have higher yields, like a money market account or a certificate of deposit. Those certificates of deposit I love because they lock in your funds for a set period of time.
Yeah.
For someone like me, that's great because then you can't take it
Can't
out and
touch
go
it.
shopping, right? Like if you're saving for something specific, lock it away.
Yeah.
You typically do get higher interest rates on the CDs. So that's another benefit. But to me, the locking away part
Yeah.
is the best piece of it.
Keep yourself from touching it.
Yeah. And then also take advantage of your employer retirement plans like your 401ks and your 403bs. And definitely take advantage of their matching as well. That's free money.
That's like free
right?
money.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll talk more about that on a future episode. Stacey Black, lead financial educator for BECU. I'm Brian Westbrook with GeekWire Studios. Thanks for watching Money Hacks.